So there's tons of Wikihow articles that are out there that are meant to teach somebody the basics of most popular instruments. And I'm sure someone that plays these instruments would agree that the information in these articles is not the most accurate, is not that well organized, and is not presented in that creative a way. However, from at least from what I've seen, the information in most of these articles seems to be somewhat true and is in an order that sort of more or less makes sense. But not too long ago, somebody sent me the WikiHow article, How to Play Classical Guitar. And even from a quick glance, I was very surprised at how inaccurate a lot of the information was, but even more so that the order of the information seemed to make even less sense. Now, if I was a beginner who saw this article, I would probably leave feeling pretty confused and probably not want to continue learning, mostly from frustration from not knowing what the article was talking about. So in this video, me and my friend Sarah are going to be reacting to and talking about many of the issues that are in this article, and hopefully to clear up any confusion somebody might have when seeing it. Let me know what you guys think about the article in the comments below, and thanks for watching. Nicholas Adams. So let's start with seeing who that is. Let me look him up. So this guy doesn't have a website and nothing about him playing classical guitar. So I feel like already we're not off to a great start.
Well, honestly, it's interesting because I'm reading the
Yeah,
little bubble. If you
yeah.
keep reading through it, it says the keys to learning how to play classical guitar are understanding the anatomy of your instrument and the positioning of your body. But literally right off the bat, he's starting off by teaching you chords and scales.
Part 1, learning simple chords and scales. Know the difference between classical guitar and other guitars. Classical guitars use soft steel strings for E, A, and D.
I thought it was wounded nylon.
Also, look at this guitar too. Look at all these little, like, dots.
Yeah.
I don't know how anybody could do like that to their guitar unless they put like a match to it or something. The principles for learning chords and scales are the exact same for any guitar, except the sound that is produced will be much different.
Should start out with just how do you even hold the instrument? How do you pluck a note? Like, how are you gonna already make them pluck multiple notes? It doesn't even talk about like the neck length and or like
The body
width, how
size.
thick it is. Nothing.
Expert tip. Let's see what this guy says. How is that an expert tip, though? I didn't learn anything about how to play. Expert information, maybe, but not a tip. Look at this right hand position.
Also, the angle of the guitar.
There's so many things wrong with this. First of all, look at that thumb. It's not even close.
It makes me laugh. Like the bolded thing that he has next to number 2, strum correctly. You can't just have the expectations they're gonna do everything perfectly and even know what it takes to strum correctly.
His thumb and index finger would collide if he does anything faster than what he's doing here. Your thumb will always play the E, A, and D. Definitely not always.
Depending on what, like if you're doing a scale passage that like involves more than 4 strings or something, a lot of times you just do like M and I. Pinch the strings? That's his way of like telling you how to pluck it. Pinch? Well, it doesn't. All right, so really, genuinely doesn't make sense for a couple reasons. One, when you pinch something, like you don't do it with one finger. You use 2 fingers for one thing. Like you haven't even taught people how to just like alternate between 2 fingers, and he's already expecting you to be able to pluck and alternate between the thumb, M and I, and potentially A. Like it just.
Yeah.
The guy has some high expectations.
Also, pinch the strings.
Yeah, that's the sound that he's pretty much asking for. By saying strumming, like that's also kind of vague for a first lesson. Like, what does that mean? Saying like all of the fingers? I don't know. Oh, another.
He holds a bachelor's in music from California State University, as well as a master's of music degree in classical performance. So this person actually has some real tips.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see what their extra tip is. Classical guitars make it easier to play using fingernails. The difference between a classical guitar and others is that the neck style. Okay, this is good. This is good advice. This extra tip should have gone in very first thing.
Yeah, especially because a lot of times I feel like there is just a lot of vagueness about classical guitar versus acoustic guitar. Some people might actually be interested in acoustic, not classical, and if you don't establish those differences and let them know about it right off the bat, like they might be getting themselves involved in something they might not be interested in.
This person already in just a small tip has given the only...
Carlos, why don't you take over?
Yeah. Number 3. Begin with the G major scale. The key of G starts on the 3rd fret. What does that mean?
That's his way of saying the note G is on... Wait, the key of G starts on...
Of what string?
What?
The first finger uses all the strings within the 2nd fret. What? The second finger uses what? Okay, wait. The first finger uses all the strings within the second fret.
Does he need all second frets to use the first finger? That's so not true. You're limiting yourself that way. And
And also, why would you start learning in second position? In second position.
oh my god, this is so bad. So can we talk about the fact that he calls it number each finger when learning chords? You're not, based off what he's describing, it's a scale.
Yeah,
You're not holding your fingers down for a chord. You would be playing a scale.
I read ahead and I think I realized what he's talking about, which is also now wrong. He's calling the first fret the second fret. Because if you
Oh
look at it,
no, no, no,
it says,
no.
and your pinky will use all the chords in the fifth fret.
Oh yeah, you're right.
Okay.
I mean, I think this is pretty bad though, because if a beginner student's looking at this and actually taking it seriously, then you know, like you're gonna have to undo a lot of this rather than just start correctly from the get-go.
Pluck each individual string with your opposite hand in the following sequence. What? This makes no sense. 2, 4, 1, 2, 4, 1, 3, 4, and 1.
So wait, so I-A-P, I-A-P-M-A-I? What does that even mean? That's not even, what kind of an arpeggio is that? Also, that's just really complicated for a first-time plucker. Like it's not even just like, oh, like let's learn about alternating I and M, like something just very basic. He's like, okay, we're gonna do this and then this and then this. Like it's just
Oh my god,
this guy's expectations are something.
number each string what's up with this whole learning chords thing?
I think the problem is that he's a little too passive in some things where you should just make it very clear. Like that, for example. Like you should just say,
Yeah.
there are 6 strings. This is what each of them is called. We use nylon strings, blah, 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 whatever it is. Something that's basic, but like the terminology is really, really important. I feel like the way he's explaining it, it's like not setting up well for, you know, to read notation eventually.
I love these ads on the sides. I feel like these ads are judging him.
They're so funny.
I love how like Will Smith is just like so intrigued. But also
You want to learn the guitar?
number each string while learning chords. Okay, this should have been in the beginning, but it's not. It's not bad. This will help you follow along as you watch others play, without learning how to read music.
I literally called it. He's like teaching it in a way where he doesn't care. He doesn't even he wants you to read music without learning how to read music. It's like he's literally trying to teach you how to play a classical guitar and trying to say that, oh well, you can get away without me reading music. That is so not true. You definitely need to read music. You should. Like you're gonna limit yourself so much if you don't.
Each finger will be assigned a string depending on the chord or scale that you're trying to play. What does that mean? But at least he says, for example. Let's see what his example is. For example, to play the G chord, have your middle finger on the 3rd fret of the 6th string, your index finger on the 2nd fret of the 5th string, place your ring finger on the 3rd fret of the 2nd string, and place your pinky on the 3rd fret of the 1st string. That's correct. That is a G chord. Anyway, let's keep going. So, and obviously that'll be.
Ooh, more tips.
Yeah.
The tips are becoming my favorite part.
Oh no, it's the same guy again. What happened to
Carlos?
Carlos, yeah.
Left us.
What happened to Carlos?
Carlos, come back.
Our expert agrees.
Isn't he the one who's making the article?
You can't cite yourself. Okay. Many of the same principles. The main style difference is on classical guitar. You use rhythm to accompany yourself.
This is so bad.
Oh wait, why did he change his position out of nowhere?
Yeah, he totally did. What? Honestly, I feel like they're prioritizing the camera angle and then readjusting the guitar to make it fit.
What kind of position is this?
Well, literally just his left hand.
Yeah.
You could see the arch like this.
And
like
you can
this
see the thumb too.
This is not what you want. And it's deceiving from the like main picture with the guitar.
Yeah. Also, I see what he was talking about. Look at that.
He literally is pinching. Oh God,
Okay.
I feel like I can literally hear what it sounds like without actually, just by seeing it.
Learn the A chord. So we spent all this time talking about how to do scales, how to play with the fingers separately, and now we're learning the A chord.
But the funny part too is that I don't think we even learned an actual scale. He doesn't follow up with anything. It's like, especially for beginner students, like everything, it's gonna be kind of overwhelming for them. So you're
Yeah.
gonna have to go slow, and once you teach them something, you're gonna have to teach. You have to give out a lot of reinforcing materials. But he's not. He's just like throwing information at you with like no reinforcing support whatsoever.
Use your first three fingers of your left hand. Place your third finger. Okay, he's telling you finger by finger how to play the chord. Why would you play a chord first thing anyway? This is still part one.
Oh my god.
Let's see. Learning the guitar anatomy, the head. Start at the head, okay?
I like how he says the top part of the head will guide you. What does that mean? Like, at least, maybe if he means he's like to guide you in terms of how to position it and making sure like your eye level reaches the head, but he doesn't say that. He's just like, it should guide you. Whatever that means.
Okay, neck. The part he's doing the best in this article so far has nothing to do with playing guitar. When you pinch your guitar, okay, again, back to the pinching thing. Okay, he's talking about fretting a note. So now he's using the same word for two entirely different things.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, an octave is produced every 12 frets. That's kind of useful. In order to protect the body of your guitar from scratching, there's a piece of material over the sound hole known as a pick guard. What classical
guitar?
The soundboard is the top of the guitar that is well crafted and engineered. Probably not in this case. Look at that. Look at the bottom of that guitar too.
I guess
internal bracing greatly affects the sound quality. The sound of your guitar is produced from vibrating energy of strings transferred to your guitar's top. That's true, but why is this part two?
It's confusing, honestly. Like, just his sequencing of this is just very weird. It really just does not make sense. And it's funny too, because for part one, where it's like, oh, by the way, this is a scale that we're gonna do. Oh, by the way, this is, you know, like a chord or something. He just brushes over it. And he's like, oh, by the way, alternate these fingers or whatever. And now he's like, the body resonates and this happens and this touches that and that's why this vibrates like this. And now it's so detailed. I'm like, where was this for the other part, and why wasn't this first, actually? So many people who are going to go through this are the ones who know nothing because they want to learn. So they're going to be like, wow, this is so useful. I learned this and that, not really realizing that they learned stuff like out of order, or they might have like already built bad habits without even realizing it. Part three.
Positioning your body. I love how the picture is just a picture of a chair. You will need a firm base to give you support to keep you comfortable. Why would you want any chair that has no firm base, ever?
The next point is interesting. Do not slouch, as this will hurt your back. For me, it was actually the opposite, and if anything, I had to work on keeping a straight posture, because I tend to slouch, because I find it more comfortable.
I feel like he means like the extreme where you're like literally like this.
Yeah. Do not put the check mark there. This is wrong. The guitar is literally pushed into him. You don't sit all the way in, and you do not use the back of a chair as support. You sit towards the front. You sit towards the front. God, this is hurting me. That's how you do it, guys. But no, that's definitely not how you do it, guys. Okay. Do not listen to this.
Your legs positioning should alleviate any stress on your lower back. Using a footstool is like the opposite of that. That's going to put stress on your lower back.
Yeah, it does.
So comfort is number one priority. Yeah, that's true. But is it gonna happen? No.
That is an interesting sentence though, because like when I was doing like the teaching pedagogy class, I was learning that at the beginning stages you actually shouldn't really listen to that when they're saying they're uncomfortable and stuff, because a lot of it's just because they haven't done it before. And if you make comfort your number one priority, then you might actually be switching out like certain angles that you would need in terms of establishing good right and left hand positions. And a lot of times like it's uncomfortable just because it's something new. You haven't really like stretched a certain way. I would prioritize the right and left hand angles and like the tilt of the guitar. And stuff like that. Some people have, like really long torsos compared to legs. They might need, like the footstool to be at a different angle. Like that's different. That's more just like your physiology and anatomy. But 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 saying like, oh no, like barring kind of hurts my fingers. Well, it's gonna
Yeah.
hurt for anyone who's doing it at first. So that's not something where I'm like, okay, let me switch out the entire guitar angle to make it convenient.
What is this? We gotta see what this is. Wait. This is he actually has a source. Play Guitar 101, okay. Now let's go back and see all of his sources. Okay, so he has two. Okay, good for him for actually citing sources that aren't himself. But why?
I think this shows that he probably wasn't sure.
He had to double check.
God, I literally feel like I'm in a nightmare, and that gif of him sitting down just
No,
like
yeah,
replaying. Time he's like, oh, let me scoot back, let me get comfortable.
just on repeat.
Oh, make it stop.
Look
Nice. Okay,
look at the
keep it
spread.
there. Couple things. His right shoulder, you're gonna get carpal tunnel, whatever it's called. That's
Yeah.
gonna hurt.
Literally.
And also, because of that, you could see like the pinky's literally just stuck like this, so he's probably holding out a lot of tension here too.
Yeah.
He should have angled the camera, like the earlier shot, to focus on the left hand. Like really, I'm actually just getting distracted by his right hand. And also, even just looking at his left hand, his hand is out of position. Your left hand fingers should be parallel to the strings. And if they're like this too much, then that means you're placing too much tension on the wrong side of the fingers.
Okay. Let's see what he says about the left hand after this great demonstration of it. Your left hand should reach the fretboard with ease. You shouldn't have to drop your left shoulder as you try to reach the fretboard. Yeah, but why is he playing in like, I don't even know. Why is he playing in like 8th or 7th position?
Or something like that.
Yeah. Correct playing should be comfortable without strain. The
picture screams strain.
Once it goes,
the shoulder, definitely strain. And also, like, he's crouching up. You can see, like, by the size of his neck and stuff that he's like this.
Use a footstool to raise the left leg and, therefore, raise the guitar resting on it closer to your left hand.
I guess, but the thing is, the way that he's wording it makes it seem like the angle of the guitar is going to depend on the left hand. That's not really true. In a way, it's like the body of the guitar and the way you hold it, it's more like that's the bass and then the angle is created. You know what I mean? Like the way he's explaining it makes it seem like you should drop it to make it easier to reach the left hand.
Okay. Be aware that some argue that raising the left leg causes your lower spine to twist.
Go to 4. Here we back to the friggin'
get comfortable.
With number 4, he's not really wrong, and even things like, oh, you'll also need to be in a position that allows your arms to move freely and easily. Yeah, it's true, but my problem with positioning the body is that he didn't really explain it, though. He's more like, oh, you should be comfortable, you shouldn't deal with stress. Oh, by the way, like small things like that.
Yeah.
But, like, he didn't really teach you about contact points. He didn't even mention the right hand, like, where are you resting the forearm exactly? How is the wrist supposed to look? He really didn't even mention the right hand. I feel like, it's really vague. Even if someone's telling me, oh, be comfortable, I'm like, okay, but what does that mean though? Like, am I holding it correctly?
Also, we're already in part 3, and how much have we learned about actually how to play classical guitar?
I feel like you can kind of tell this guy's not a teacher in a way.
I think at this point he's just given up. I mean, I've given up.
I've given up, yeah.
You will need to be in a position that allows your arms to move freely and easily. Any position that puts strain on any part of your body needs to be adjusted. So why is he in this position? Number 5. Trim your fingernail length according to your hand use. Holding string, strumming string. Does he mean fretting hand?
Yeah.
Plucking hand?
Holding string, as in like you're holding, and then your right hand, that's when you're actually strumming.
This is a horrible choice of words. Here he calls it his fretting hand.
Fretting hand. It's stuff like that he honestly should have been more careful of, especially because if you are targeting beginners and you want to teach them, like, you just want to be super clear. So at the very least, like, use the same terminology when you're explaining something.
Well, some players use fingertips. No one uses their finger. I mean, are there any professional players currently that don't use nails?
I don't know of any, honestly. It's interesting what he says. Longer fingernails may help to produce a higher volume. Okay. Having nails versus no nails, yes, that helps you, but from what I've been learning, like, the volume depends more on the pressure when you're plucking. you know, because I
Yeah.
could have long nails and still get a very shallow sound if I'm not
Yeah.
preparing, if I'm not plucking into the strings.
No, that is totally true. A combination of fingernail length works best, especially with long nails and guitar rhythm through taps and
Combination of
strumming.
fingernails.
Fingernail length should be kept at what is comfortable for you, being used for strumming and taps, not for plucking the strings, not for arpeggios, not for anything else besides strumming and tapping the guitar.
I swear, he's literally setting this up more for acoustic guitar. Like, oh, hold on, let's see some of the community Q&A.
Okay, okay.
Is he the one who responds to them?
Let's see. Can I play a guitar missing a string? I guess, but I would have just said no. What's the point?
Right.
Okay, oh no. Who is the most famous classical guitarist? Some of the best were some of the best. John Williams is still alive. I mean, Prima doesn't play anymore. And Andrew Segovia. Okay. 13 people found these helpful. Okay, I'm helping it. I'm helping this out. I'll give that one helpful. Um, can I play classical in acoustic?
Wow, this person, such an optimist. Not
YouTube?
even just the preference of the sound. Like, there are some
Yeah.
technical things that
Yeah.
just not work as well. It's
Yeah.
not just a preference thing, it's just like the actual technique too.
Yeah. Can I play classical guitar with a plectrum, also known as a guitar pick? You can. No. But it would be difficult. It would be impossible. Does the right hand have to have longer nails? Or can I play with short nails? You can play with short nails, but it would be hard to get good sound. You could also wear finger picks, like tiny guitar picks, which you attach to your thumb and the first three fingers. So if you can't actually grow nails, I mean, you're better off using like stick-on nails, but
Yeah.
definitely not tiny guitar picks. Um,
Also, some people can play with short nails. Literally, they just need a little bit of nail and they can get
yeah.
a great sound. Like it's more subjective.
Okay.
But,
Definitely not helpful. Some songs need a capo, but how can you make it sound like a capo when I really don't have one? Not that many classical songs use a capo. There's some like the
yeah.
Andrew York that you played, but not that many though. And if you need one, then go buy one. I mean, it's not the biggest purchase in the world. But this isn't a solution. You can place your index finger over the strings to act like a capo.
Well, the next line is what cracks me up. This is hard though, as your finger might not be as strong as professional guitar players. The problem isn't strength, it's the fact that you would actually still need to use your index finger regularly. But like, no, even professional guitarists wouldn't do that. Like you need your fingers.
Tips.
Damn,
Wait.
don't get discouraged.
Okay.
I'm plenty discouraged after reading this article. For the don't strain yourself,
Yeah.
it makes me laugh. Take your time and ensure that you fully grasp what the music is trying to get you to do. Did we learn any music? Did we even learn how
No,
what a staff is, what a note
we did
is?
not learn how to play anything besides maybe
No.
how to poorly strum an A chord and how to poorly strum an E chord.
Yep. I
Practice
still
as your schedule allows. What are the warning signs? Do not kill the strings. Play just hard enough to get the right sound, but not too hard where you start to choke the sound out of the instrument. This is the same guy that says to pinch the strings. Finally, things you'll need. Classical guitar, well, I got that. Armless, sure, I got that. So I guess based on all that, I'm ready to play classical guitar.
Nice. Change nylon strings in a classical guitar. That's an acoustic guitar, first of all. 93%?
Oh no, hold on.
Oh,
11 votes, 90%. Oh my god, it has this many views.
oh my.
He had 22 co-authors.
Oh my god. This makes me so sad.
Okay,
Does this article help you? Not at all.
this article will help you.
Not at all.
I'll give the final verdict. This is a sad no. Oh look, hold on.
What went wrong?
The instructions didn't work. They didn't work. There weren't any. I couldn't fault. I actually couldn't. Oh no, I wish I could check all of them.
The problem is that I wish if they had an option where it was like the instructions are just wrong. I wish
Okay.
if you could write a review, honestly. Oh my god.
Okay, I'm gonna pick.
versus
I
that.
couldn't follow the instructions. No, sorry. The instructions didn't work. They
I
wouldn't work.
guess that's most accurate.
Oh, you can. Please. I mean, what should I say?
John, where do we even
Oh my
start?
God.
I could like write a
I'm gonna say
novel on this.
nothing. I'm just gonna be very blunt. Nothing about this article makes any sense. Dot dot dot. The
The sequencing is incorrect. You shouldn't be learning how to Wait, yeah, so the sequencing of instructions makes no sense. You should start by learning how to hold the instrument and learn about the anatomy before you actually start playing the instrument.
Play any. um,
You should also learn how to play one note rather than a chord from the beginning.
I'm gonna make it like a genuine review. You shouldn't even
Yeah.
start with a chord.
Or
How
scale.
about
You
how
should
about just one
start
note?
by how about just one note? Yep. You shouldn't be alternating between your thumb and your other fingers and arpeggios. Those should come later.
Let's see. Yeah, you shouldn't
Um,
be doing alternation.
of
Oh no, there's a limit.
thumb.
Okay, I'll
Oh,
leave it at that. I'll leave it at that. I'll be like very poor instruction, very poor technique demonstrated. For the classical guitarist at gmail.com. Okay.
I like how it says, "What do you wish we'd covered this article?" Honestly, just correct fact
Yeah.
and good methodology to teaching. It's
Okay.
not too much to ask, I wonder.
I mean,
Yo, honestly, maybe we should have wrote a second review and said Carlos should have took over. Carlos should have wrote this article.
okay. So Carlos, yeah, guys, be like Carlos. He even
Yeah.
gets a
Carlos, thank you, my guy,
yeah,
for actually saying good information on there.
praise. Yeah, praise. He actually looks like he knows what he's doing.
Look at the pinky, no tension, no right shoulder. They should have used this picture for reference. He has
Any
a
of these
good
pictures.
left-hand position.
Good for Carlos. Hopefully he's doing well.
Feel like Carlos, for sure.
Yeah. Thank you again for watching, and thank you to my friend Sarah for filming this video with me. And if you guys want to check out videos for playing, which I highly recommend to do, I'll put links to her Instagram and YouTube channel down below in the description. That's all for now, and if you guys like what I do here, please consider subscribing to the channel for more classical guitar content like this. See you next time.